Hello friends, welcome back. Now in the previous video that I had uploaded, I dealt with the concept of risk and return as well as the calculation of expected rate of return and standard deviation. Now in this video, we will look at the concept of risk in a portfolio context. Earlier, we had calculated the expected rate of return and standard deviation of individual securities. Now we will look at the risk in a portfolio context. Now, many investors, individuals as well as institutions, they hold portfolio of securities. Now, what do you mean by that? It means, they have a certain amount of money to invest, and what they would do is they would not invest all that sum in one security. They would combine it, either two or more securities. Now, when you invest your money in two or more securities, that is known as an investment portfolio. Now, what happens when two or more securities are combined in a portfolio? Now, to answer this question, let us consider this example. Suppose you have 1 lakh rupees to invest and you are considering the two equity stocks, Alpha Company and Beta Company. Let's just say A Company and B Company. The returns on the equity stocks of A and B for the preceding 5 years are shown below. All right. And you expect the future returns on these stocks to be equal to their past returns. That means that on your investment of rupees 1 lakh, you expect to earn 12,000 per annum. Now, how did you get that? Because the mean return in the preceding 5 years was 12%. So if you add all this, 11 plus 13 minus 8, 27, 17, you get from that sum, the divide by 5, you'll get 12%. So that is your mean return. All right. So you expect a return of 12% on your investment, which translate to 12,000 rupees per annum on either of the securities individually or on a portfolio consisting of these securities. Now, the risk and return individual securities and portfolio. Now, A and B are individual securities, Alpha Company, Beta Company, but this is a portfolio, and we assume that 50% of your money, that means 50,000, will be invested in Alpha and the other remaining 50,000 in Beta. All right, the year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the individual the returns on Alpha Company, Beta Company, and the returns on your portfolio when you combine Alpha and Beta. Now, for finding out the mean, I've showed you that this is how you calculate the mean. Now, you will notice one thing here in this problem. You'll notice that the probability distribution is not there. The reason being is that we don't have the probabilities. So how do you find out? The mean return, like the expected rate of return, if you don't have the probability distribution? So here we are going to use the historical return data, and the formula for that is this: is mean return K bar is equal to summation of Ki divided by n. So all you have to do is add all these, divide by n, which is the number of years, 5. Okay, you'll get 12%. Same thing here also, your mean return 12%. This is K bar. All right, 12%. And here also it is 12%. And the standard deviation, again, since we do not have the probability, so the standard deviation will be calculated as sigma is equal to square root of summation of Ki minus K bar the whole square divided by n minus 1. So that is how you'll get the standard deviation. Now, if you look at this example, you really do not see any difference in the mean return. All right, there's no difference in the mean return. All right, but however, the standard deviation, you'll see a marked difference. The standard deviation here in alpha company it is 12.76%. For beta company it is 10.81%. But for the portfolio, when you combine these two securities, it is only 1.93%. Now, even though the mean return is the same, yet the standard deviation is much lesser. All right, much lesser. And this is because diversification leads in results in reduction of risk. Okay, diversification results in risk reduction. Okay, so this happens because the rates of return on the two securities tend to move in opposite directions. Now, in general, if the rates of return of individual securities are not perfectly positive correlated, diversification results in risk reduction. All right, so that is the benefit of not putting all your eggs in one basket. You have a lack. If you have a lack, you can either choose alpha or beta, or invest half in alpha and beta respectively. All right, so when you do that, the degree of risk is very much reduced, and you will see this in the here in this graphical representation of returns. You see this for alpha company. You see now there's a very sharp movement of the returns. Okay, this is the return. You see, very sharp movement. Same thing for beta company, sharp movement of return. But for portfolio, you see the returns is not very high, but it does not become negative. All right, it stays in the positive. It is not very high at the same time. But also remember that when you invest, when you diversify your risk gets mitigated, it reduces. So that is the concept of risk in a portfolio context. I hope you have understood. In the next video, I will solve a problem. I'm going to solve a problem that is related to risk in a portfolio context.